Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Advanced English. Greg and Mary Daphne here, and we're coming at you with another brand new topic, which is, do you
Drum
have
roll.
any guesses, Greg?
I would love to hear it.
All right. Well, it's all about starting a conversation in English. How do you start a conversation with somebody? This is a big one because it's important to know how to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of the fundamental component of engaging with people, right?
Yeah.
Interacting with people is how do you kick it off? And it's the thing I think most of us fear the most, starting the conversation.
Even native English speakers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, once a conversation is going, there's momentum and it's much easier to just continue. But to actually start the conversation, right? That's why they even have things called icebreakers.
Right.
Right? Because it feels like
prompt
there's this, to prompt it.
Some conversation.
It feels like there's this ice on you and you're kind
Yeah.
of stuck in place and you got to break the ice to start talking.
That was so convincing. I love that. It felt like
Did I
you were
make a good
coming out of
Iceman?
an ice cube. Yeah. Very nice. All right. So you ready for the first one?
Yeah.
Remark on the situation that you're in or the event that you're at. So you could be at a conference, right? And you see somebody and you say, so what do you think of the conference? Or what brings you to this conference?
Yeah, that's a nice, safe one. I like it because it's immediately contextualized, meaning it's about the area that you're in or the situation that you're in,
Yeah.
right? By remarking on it, you're pointing out something that both of you are, experiencing and seeing at that moment.
Exactly. Like you could also be online getting your license at the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yeah.
And you can start up this conversation. Oh, so like, are you here to renew your license? Oh, no, I'm actually learning how to drive and this is my driver's test or something, right? And then you just
Exactly.
start talking.
Yeah.
But the situation is being at the DMV.
The situation is there, you're both there, and you know that there's going to at least be something to say. So it's a nice, safe one. I like it.
Yeah, that's a good one, right? The other thing you can do is compliment the person. So you can be anywhere, really. Let's say you're at a coffee shop. You might say, oh, I really like your hat.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, like, and I'm pausing there because don't feel like this is that strange. It might sound strange to be, complimenting a stranger, but believe it or not, unless it's like a weird compliment, like if it's about a hat or about a scarf or like, oh, that, donut looks really good, complimenting them on their choice of pastry, then that's totally fine, obviously. There's a right way to do this. And, you don't have to be awkward or strange about it.
Everyone likes receiving a compliment, right? It's
Strangers.
Even strangers, especially strangers.
Yeah.
Particularly in a DMV.
Yeah.
A DMV is a Department of Motor Vehicles.
So dreary.
And they're notorious in the U.S. for being a sort of long lines, grumpy service. Yeah, which is not always true. I've been to some pleasant DMVs. But in any event, the point is getting a compliment's always going to be welcome, right? I always like to hear something nice about me. And
I like your hair today.
why, thank you. I got it done at this stylist on the street down the road.
Right, so it invites further conversation.
Exactly. And so on this, what I really like to do is give the compliment on a topic that I'm interested in.
That's a really good point.
Right? And that way, not only are you giving them a compliment, but it's going to open up an opportunity to talk about something you enjoy talking about, which inevitably means you're going to be more engaged, and it's just going to be a better conversation.
Right. And if you're trying to, if you're struggling for what to find, again, go back to that situation one, right? So maybe they gave a speech. Say, that was a really great talk. You seem so comfortable with public speaking. Have you been doing it for a while? Right. And then you can talk about maybe they took a course.
You're good
maybe
at this.
Just, coming up with different ways of starting a conversation. So that's the compliment one. And again, if you find it possible to align it to your interests, which is a great suggestion, do that. If you can't think of that in the moment, then find something, again, that pertains to the context that you're both in at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. The next one is to ask somebody their opinion. So you might notice another regular at the nearby coffee shop, the coffee shop that you frequent or go to, and you keep seeing this person and you want to be friends with them because they seem to, have similar preferences to you. They get the coffee and they get the same pastry. But you notice one day they got a different pastry. Maybe you say, I noticed, well, maybe not say I noticed, but because that would imply that you're like spying on them. But you could say, what do you think of that matcha donut? I've been meaning to try it.
Yeah.
And if you do it that way, it's not like sketchy or strange or like you're keeping tabs on them, like keeping an eye on them.
Yeah. And what's nice about asking for advice is that... Opinion, rather. Yeah. What's nice about asking for someone's opinion is people are always happy to share their opinion, right? It shows that you're interested in what they think.
Yeah.
And it gives them to talk a bit about what they think, right? So it's just one of these ways that if you ask them for something more specific, like how do I get to this place, they might not have an answer, right? And that's frustrating.
Like directions?
Yeah, if you ask them for directions, that's a very sort of specific, objective
Google
question.
Maps, friends. Google Maps.
Right. So by asking something objective, you might put them in a situation where they can't answer.
Yeah.
When you ask them something subjective, right, like their opinion, then what it does, it ensures that they at least are able to say something.
Yeah.
Most of us have an opinion in some way, shape, or form on something.
Right.
And so it's a nice, again, it's another reliable way to get that conversation going.
Exactly. All right. So the next one is asking their advice. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right. So I guess very similar.
So that's similar to asking the opinion of someone, but asking for advice. So for example, let's say I'm in line at the coffee shop and I notice Greg's also there, but I don't know Greg yet, but I've seen him around. He's also a regular at this coffee shop. And I'll say, I've noticed you've been here many times before. What do you think about, or can you tell me? Would you suggest
the poppy seed or the sesame seed bagel?
That's it.
Right? Yeah. And what people like to have, they like to be the deciding person, right?
True.
They like to give advice because it makes them feel knowledgeable. And it shows that you respect and value their advice.
Right. So, like, would you recommend the latte or the cappuccino?
Yeah. Asking someone's advice is almost like a veiled compliment.
Yeah,
right? It's basically saying, I trust you to have a good read or a good insight into this topic.
Right. And
so that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
So
I view you as a credible source of this information. Yep. So could you please share your knowledge with me, right?
Yeah. So that's a good one.
The other one is to ask somebody a favor, right? And so with that, you can say, let's say you're at the gym, you could say, do you mind spot checking me? So let's say you're at the bench press, right?
Bench press, yep.
And you're having heavy weight that you're lifting, and you want somebody to check
to spot you.
Yeah, which really means what? What does it mean?
It just means basically to help prevent anything from going wrong. If you're lifting a heavy weight, you don't want to drop it.
Yeah.
And so by spotting someone, you ensure that they're going to be safe. And so that's a nice one. And then as they're doing that, you can say, thanks. By the way, here's another way that I like to do this exercise. Right. It gets the conversation going.
Or they might ask you to spot them, and then you're fast friends.
It takes very little, I think, is the
it's amazing.
The key here.
Yeah.
It takes very little to get the conversation going, but until you do, there is no conversation, right?
Think about all the missed opportunities for conversations, like enlightening, inspiring conversations that we've missed out on because we didn't know how to start, right?
Exactly.
Like the first time I met Greg, like he didn't really say anything.
I was speechless. Yeah. And so we didn't have much of a conversation. Well, you probably busted out, one of your skilled conversation
One of the
starters.
5 ones that I shared.
Exactly. I don't think you're asking my opinion, but
we were at the salad bar, so
right.
yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I mean, we're joking here, but it really is a real thing. And think of it as, if you don't do this, it could be a missed opportunity, right? Something that you might learn, a new best friend, a potential business partner, a romantic partner, right? Whatever it might be, don't be afraid to start a conversation. And if you get shut down, if the person doesn't reciprocate, right? Whatever, who cares, right? Just move on to the next conversation. Not in any way, a big deal. So.
Yep. Yeah, it's like a muscle. You get better and better the more you work it. So the more you do this, the more success you're going to have.
That's a great note to end on. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you right here for another advanced English lesson. Bye for now.